What's going on, guys? We are coming at you with yet another sensational recipe. We're making keto avocado brownies. It makes us think the food is healthy because we make a small change, you know? It's like that skit in, what's that show, The Good Life or something? The Good Place? Where they do frozen yogurt because it's not ice cream. It's just like a little bit healthier, but it tastes not as good. That's sort of what we love to do in America. You add an avocado to brownies, makes them healthier. And that is what we're gonna be doing today. It also makes them moister. I don't know if moister is a word. It makes them moist, more moist, and it also makes them a little fudgier and denser. I don't know if denser is a word either, but let's get to making them. This recipe uses a lot of ingredients, but they're all pretty simple ingredients that you probably have at home. And we're gonna make it in a food processor. That's the easy way. You basically just add everything to it, you blend it, it makes it super easy. The only little exceptions we need to do is if the butter's at room temperature, you can just add it, but we're going to melt it a little bit. 4 tablespoons of butter. And then also, I'm gonna add the almond butter to just kind of soften it. And we are gonna need a 1/4 cup of almond butter also. Now, I'm just gonna microwave this for maybe like a minute or two on a lower power level. Okay, here's our butter and almond butter, pretty soft, basically melted. It doesn't really matter. So here's the thing you'll notice about a really good keto brownie. The proportion of dry ingredients to wet ingredients is really off of what you're expecting. A lot more liquid, just a little tiny bit of dry ingredients to hold it together, just barely. You want it barely held together. So we're just gonna add everything now to the food processor. One thing of note, to get the fudgy, this is gonna be like dark chocolate brownies. So we're using 95% dark chocolate bar here. This is Lindt brand. You can find this a lot of stores. Walmart, I think, has it. This makes it super dark chocolate, not very sweet. You can use 85% dark chocolate. That'll make it a little bit sweeter. We're also using some cocoa powder, special dark, that's one we like to use. If you like more of like a milk chocolatey flavor, you can use bars that are specifically made for low carb diets, like Lily's chocolate bars that use keto friendly sweeteners. Let's start adding stuff to the food processor. So we have our avocado here. This is kind of a small one. You want a bigger one. Very ripe. The riper, the better. We're gonna do 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Here is the almond butter and the normal butter. Then we're just gonna do a teaspoon of coconut flour. We can add more if it doesn't come together and it's not the right consistency we're looking for. This is just a tiny bit, it'll help it bind together. And then we're gonna use a 1/3 cup of erythritol, which is a low carb sweetener. What we like to do sometimes is we'll reduce the amount of erythritol. So maybe I would do like half of a 1/3 of a cup. I would add stevia instead, liquid stevia. And then here is a little bit of a secret ingredient for chewy, keto friendly baked goods. Gelatin. You'll find this in the baking aisle. It's called Gelatine is the most common brand. There's some more like trendy brands like this one we have here, Vital Proteins. Just a tablespoon is what you're gonna need here. And I know some people don't like pork products. This usually is, although this is beef, so you can get beef gelatin. You can also leave this out. We're gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Also 1/2 teaspoon of salt, or you can just kind of give it a big pinch. Salt really brings out the flavor of dark chocolate, so I like to add a good bit. A full teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then lastly, 2 eggs. So we still have our chocolate bar that we're waiting on. We are gonna blend this together first though. You mostly want to be looking for the avocado chunks to be completely integrated into this mixture. That is made a lot easier if you're using a very ripe avocado. If you're using a not super ripe avocado, it makes it kind of tough. Push down the sides here and give it one last mix. That looks pretty great to me. Now we're gonna use a full 2.8 ounce, 80 gram dark chocolate bar here. And I'm just gonna roughly chop it. You want some chunks. Okay, there is our chocolate. Now I'm gonna add it in here. This is a lot.
Maybe leave some for the top.
I guess I'll leave a little bit for the top. Mega's saying we should do that, so I'll do it. About that much. Leave maybe 1/4 of it for the top. And then I'm gonna give this a pretty good pulse. And now we have an 8x8 baking pan, and I'm just gonna line it with some parchment paper. I like to lightly spray the pan just so the parchment paper sticks. Now I'm just gonna remove this mixture from the food processor, put it in the brownie pan. Oh yeah, that's the gelatin working there, kind of holding it all together. Now just spread this out. Okay, so there is the brownies spread out. You can even use like a loaf pan, like 9x5, or what is it, 8x5. That'll make the brownies a little bit taller, but this is what we got. And I'm just gonna sprinkle the chocolate on top. Okay, the oven is preheated to 350. We're gonna put this in there for 20 to 25 minutes. We'll be back to check on it. And the brownies are out of the oven. This took 17 minutes in our oven. Our oven runs a little hot typically. So yeah, looks great. You can see the chocolate melted on top. Let's pull this out. This would probably be good with some cream cheese swirls too. You know how people do those? It's not really my favorite. How do you guys feel about the cream cheese swirl brownies? Good or bad?
Good.
I'm not really into them. These are a little thin. I would probably do it in like a loaf pan, like a little thinner so that they stack higher. That's how I like my brownies. But we can cut these up, get a good, what, like 9 of them maybe? And the nice thing, we have another brownie recipe on our website. The nice thing about these is anything that's really dark chocolate like this, it's really good in the freezer. If you just put it in the freezer, grab it after dinner. I don't even defrost it, I just eat it frozen. Now, usually when I'm trying anything with avocado, I wanna know, can I taste the avocado? Ideally, not really. That's sort of what you're going for. They hold together pretty nicely. Moist feeling. You can definitely tell there's avocado in this just by the texture and the moistness. Good explosion of flavor. Really dark chocolatey. Tastes a little bit light and fresh for like a really dense chocolatey brownie. I think that's the avocado. Really rich flavor. Pretty fudgy, right? Really overall tasty recipe. Link to the recipe is down below in the description of this video. All of our recipes, ketoconnect.net. Also, down below in the description, we have a free opt-in thing. You can get a free ebook, 10 foolproof keto recipes, as well as a full keto food list. So grab that, it's free, just submit your email. And thanks for watching, guys.